3, 2, 1, cue the Genster. Hello, Jenny.
Hi there, everyone. Welcome along to another Monday Club. Everybody is welcome, apart from trolls. Let's call out the trolls because they're not welcome, but everybody else is. It's great to see you, and I hope you're surviving in this sweltering heat.
I wish I was.
I'd just like to say, wow, straight off the bat, George Botterini has donated $4.99 on the Super Chat, and thank you very much. That is an amazing way to kick off a live stream. And today we are in association with All Mouse Media again, and this is the publishing company that, amongst other things, publishes my amazing books. So we've got a few deals going on. I'm sure the Cupboard Monkey will put stuff in the comments, but certainly let's have a look at some of your comments that have been coming in. Simon Trains MRS says, good evening everyone, and honestly I wouldn't blame you if it does come to an ending the video early. Been out today and it was warm. It's the humidity, and
it's not the heat, it's the humidity. It's like a sauna in here.
It is, and obviously where you are, being up in the roof space, does get a bit warmer. The heat tends to
why did you build in the loft?
Because it had all the space.
Why didn't you build in a cellar where we could have built one, and we could have then had some sort of refrigeration system put in?
No. We can still get some kind of refrigeration unit up here. Actually, it is doable. But
Jen, get me some air conditioning.
But certainly we will be having apple crumble and cream later on. Not custard, but cream. Because
you can have custard if you want.
I don't want custard. I want the cooling nature of cream.
You do realise that when I put it onto the hot crumble, it will warm up.
But it will take some of the heat away in the process. But certainly, yeah, today's hot news, basically, let's go through some of the comments first. Donget's model railway, I was going to say it's lovely here with the windows open, but loft, yeah. Andy 1962, don't envy you in the loft, in the heat and the loft, and there's also lightning to come. Actually, the lightning might clear some of the humidity out of the air, so actually lightning would be most welcome. I think we're not due it until about 12 o'clock tonight. John A. Dawson, yeah, too right, health and safety first. And don't forget, everybody, don't forget to get somebody to hold the ladder for you. So what else we got? Andy 1962, the rain can't fall out of the sky fast enough tonight.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Alistair. Thank you.
Oh my word! I'm well behind with the comments already, so I'm just going to skip through. Alistair McCallum, thank you ever so much for your very generous £5 donation on the Super Chat. Hi Jenny, have you heard the sad news that Care's miniature railway in Arbroath is closing at the end of the season after 85 years? I had not heard that actually. That is very, very sad. I have heard of instances of miniature railways being forced to close due to landlord pressure, but that is very sad after 85 years, and it's such a shame that they're not able to work something out to keep that open. That is really quite sad. Andrew Boone says, hi Jenny and Zoe, 57305 Northern Princess. Heidi, hi everybody.
Howdy ho.
Meridian Parkway, good evening ladies and Jenny and Zoe. Anfield Road layout in the loft, hi March West. So you're responding to somebody else. Alex Faxton, hi to you. I know you've been very keen actually, I've seen you posting on some of the Facebook groups. And of course don't forget to tickle the like button and share the stream. Share it to Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter. There should be some buttons to share this, and do so. Let everybody know that they're welcome to the premiere live stream in the Model Rail community, and everybody is of course welcome. And today actually what I would like to do is gosh, your comments are coming in ever so fast.
Jenny, what happened to the layout today, the birthday layout? What happened today with the breaking news?
The birthday layout, the breaking news is the birthday layout that I built for Hornby. That fine layout you saw in the Hornby video has been picked up by a man called Dave from Hornby.
It's not actually the breaking news though, is it?
Well, he didn't break it in the process, it has to be said, but actually the breaking news was going to be about the Duchess of Athol. Now, unless you've been in some darkened rooms somewhere, you really will have noticed that there's a bit of a scandal afoot, potentially, I must add, with the Hornby 00 Duchess of Athol. Now, this is the first new Hornby 00 since the 1960s, and it was probably one of the most anticipated models of the Hornby Centenary collection. I know that I said at the time, actually, when we go back to January, get your order in. There was that and the Stephenson's Rocket. I said, if you don't order it, you're going to miss out. And I got my order in for both of those within a couple of hours, pretty much, of them being announced. I know a lot of other people did because they went out of stock everywhere. And the way it worked, Hornby told all of the dealers they had an allocation, and I think it was depending on the turnover of the dealers, they had an allocation of up to a certain number of models, and effectively Hornby was guaranteeing that they would deliver that amount. Now there was a possibility...
Was it a guarantee that they would deliver that amount, or was it a guarantee they would deliver up to that amount?
It was a guarantee that they would deliver that amount.
Right, because I've heard both sides.
From whom?
When this story's been developing and we've been discussing it and working out what was going on, the first I heard was it was guaranteed that they were getting that amount. And then I heard that they were guaranteed to get up to that amount. And then I heard again that it was guaranteed to that amount.
You've heard wrong. I have talked to, I think it's about 6 different retailers now. And they've all said that Hornby told them your allocation is this. So effectively, you can guarantee to sell models up to that number. Now, you may get more above that if you ask for them, if, for example, another shop didn't take up its full allocation. But effectively, just for the sake of argument, your I don't know, shiny models, and you want to order 10. Hornby says, but your turnover, your allocation is 7, and you've got 20 people who then go, I want one. So the first 7 people, as far as you're concerned, are guaranteed a model. So you can say to those 7 people, according to the emails that I've seen from Hornby, these 7 people will get the model. Anybody above that, it's a case of, well, you'll have to wait and see. What's actually happened is last minute, i.e. last Friday, shops started being told that actually they weren't going to get their full allocation that they had been promised. And you've got this awkward situation of a number of different retailers having to tell customers that they previously told you have secured a model. Actually, you haven't. Hornby have not delivered. And getting the information out of Hornby is proving difficult. Now, I have been in touch with Simon Kohler, and Simon Kohler has promised me that he will respond to the questions that I've raised. I've basically taken all of the different questions that people are putting forward, the rumours that are going around, some of the things I've been finding out from people, including apparently up until at least the 30th of July. People are actually saying until sometime in August, but I have found somebody who can attest that they ordered on the 30th of July from Hornby's own website, that Duchess of Athol, and their order has been processed and they have been sent one of those models. And yet people who ordered in January, a lot of them haven't. So Simon Kohler... And
we should give Simon Kohler his due here. He has been responsive to you.
Yes, and yeah, I want to say this. I've given Hornby the right to reply. Hornby have said... when I say Hornby, Simon Kohler has said that he will come back to me sometime tomorrow when he has had a chance to find out what's going on and to answer the variety of questions that I've put to him. So at this stage, I don't want to draw any conclusions. You know, that it could be a very, very reasonable and simple explanation. So tomorrow, hopefully, we're going to be putting out a video about this because it really is quite big news. But at the moment, I don't want to jump to conclusions. Big hello to Wardle Road. I see you're in the chat. Robert says, Mini Wistaston Junction. Big hello to you. Ickham Road. Yeah, absolutely. It's a shame for the retailers. They've had a hard time lately. And actually, I have also talked on the telephone to a couple of retailers, as well as via emails and such like. And it is interesting. So I've got the retailers' side of the story, but I really want to hear from Hornby. I know that Simon Kohler was away on holiday, I believe, last week. So obviously, this has kind of been sprung on him. And kudos to Simon Kohler. He did respond to my first email over the weekend, and he said, look, you know, got to wait until I get back into work on Monday, which was today, try and find out what's going on. He says, I don't envisage I'll be able to get back to you until at least Tuesday. So I said, look, that's fine. I will wait until Tuesday and then we'll put out the full story as we get it. So that's what's going on at the moment. Right. Hello to Kevin George. Tony Northeastern, hi to you. Kevin George, Colin White, Sam M. Evening, Jennifer. Great to see you. Hope you're well and happy and cool. Not cool, but it's certainly very hot here. J. Paul Anderson, hi to you. Tim Davis, Russell Benton. How can you be guaranteed to get up to an amount? You get an amount and possibly more, but not less. Otherwise, what's the guarantee? Yeah, effectively, they get an allocation. And what Hornby is saying is they will deliver that allocation. So if a shop orders less than that allocation, that frees up models, which for the shops that ordered more than the allocation might be able to get more. And we've seen that in the past with certain models where they've that initial allocation where a shop's been told you can have up to this amount and we will deliver that. If other retailers haven't taken up their full allocation, that then frees up a pool of models that can then go to the retailers that wanted more but above that allocation. And that has happened in the past. And what we see with that is, I've seen on places like Rails, Kerno, Hattons, Invicta, an item will go out of stock and then it will come back into stock. And that's effectively what's happening there. Hello to Tim JD Dowd, Josh's Train Room, Somerset Andy as well, Ian White. So there'll be loads on eBay at stupid prices very soon. Funnily enough, I've only seen one so far at £500. But it did sell, which is probably an indication of the pent-up demand for these models. And I do think that actually Hornby kind of made the rod for their own back by limiting these. I think they're limited to something like 500. And really with something that's going to sell that well, they could have said limited to 2,000. Maybe not even made the full 2,000. Maybe make that first 500, distribute them. And then you've got some space. If they sell really that well, you can get onto the factory and go, make us the rest of the 2,000 that we said was going to be... oh my word, the crumble has arrived, boys and girls. The apple crumble is here. I'm going to put that on the floor because in between me jibber-jabbering away here, I want to show you a product that has been very kindly sent over by DCC Concepts. So you can see there, I've got a new DC test track, and these are the rolling road rollers. And I've actually really found these useful. So this locomotive here, number 11217, is actually a daypole version of the ex-Lancashire and Yorkshire Pug. And you can see it's chugging away there on the spot. And suddenly this means that as part of my reviews, I can actually evaluate the DC running properly for the first time without having to do a little bit of jiggery-pokery to get one of the tracks on Weir Yard to run on DC. Now I'm going to turn that off because it's probably creating a bit of a racket through the actual microphone. But you can see over here from actually before the beginning of the stream, I've had a Bachmann City of London chugging away there. So that's one for Kelly Ashford. I know she does very much like her Great Western Railway locomotives, steamies as she calls them. So there you are. There's my City of London chugging away, and it will continue to chug away all through this live stream. And you can see just how useful this product is from DCC Concepts.
So it's the signal to make it run just being relayed through those rolling road bits.
Yeah, effectively the rolling roads take the power from the track and feed it to the wheels, but because they've got a bull race set up at the top, the wheels can just rotate on the spot, so to speak. So as you can see, it's going nowhere, but it's great for running in models. So really big thanks to DCC Concepts. There's how it's spelled, DCC Concepts. See what I did there? And they sent that over, and it's been really useful. So a big thank you to them. They said, you don't have to review it or anything, but certainly I'm really pleased with the result on that. Right, I'm probably, again, I don't know how far behind. In 1906, I'm probably about 5 minutes behind here on the comments. David Cook, hi to you. Flymo Chairman 1, great to see you. Kevin George, J94. Crystal Palace asks, how hot is it in the loft? Very, very hot. In fact, the cupboard monkey is actually starting to glisten. It really is hot. Stretch
it's like
edits.
A sauna in here.
What's the news that I just got here? Well, 2 bits of news. We're talking a little bit about that Hornby 00, Duchess of Athol. We're going to come back with a full report on that tomorrow. Simon Kohler has said that he will get back to me after investigating some of the questions that I've raised. So I'm not drawing any conclusions at the moment.
No, I think it would be too early. You have to hear their side.
Definitely. But I just want to thank Simon Kohler actually for on his weekend getting back to me and saying, look, I will look into this. So hopefully we will get to the bottom of that. So talking of bottoms, I'm
Bottoms
going
up?
to... yeah, definitely. This is one of the Cupboard Monkeys special apple crumbles with cream.
So while Jen's having a quick munch there, we got a message from Ben Tullett saying, at least you're getting a response off Hornby. We've been waiting for an explanation from Bachmann why their prices are so steep. I don't think Bachmann are going to get away from that. I honestly do think that they've realised that market skimming as a technique works.
It's interesting, actually. I have had contact with Bachmann, and I always want to give people the right of reply, as we're doing with Hornby. Now, I've been in touch with Bachmann's. I think they're the media manager. They handle all the getting the stuff out there, and I can't say I'm massively impressed. Now, bear in mind that my CV, once upon a time, I was a freelance investigative journalist working with Chris Yates of Jane's Nature. Now, Jane's, you may have heard of Jane's Fighting Ships. Well, he was their resident expert on aviation security. So I worked with him for about 5-6 years. We did all manner of things investigative, including the Pan Am 103 Lockerbie bombing trial. We did the Coda Air drug smuggling thing in Southend Airport. If anybody wondered why there was a Boeing 707 there for quite some time in Coda Air livery and wondered who the heck are they, that was one of my my jobs. So, you know, a background in journal.
Didn't you get an Arctic or some sort of lorry onto runway side at Manchester Airport?
No, it wasn't Manchester Airport. I did an expose of Leeds Bradford Airport security by getting an 18-ton HGV, not only airside, but parked up next to their fuel farm.
That should not have been possible.
No. So, I'm no stranger to the media journalism world. Also worked in radio a lot.
Yeah, you're actually BBC trained, aren't you?
Currently write a lot of stuff for Modelliernesfags Magasinet in Sweden, so I am actually accredited press. I was for a long time actually even a member of the National Union of Journalists, the NUJ.
Nudge, nudge.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So you can imagine that it comes across as very belittling when people, person says to you, oh, we only deal with the real press. Whether it's real I can't remember. Do you just be careful there? It
was members of the public that they didn't want to deal with.
Yeah, they wouldn't deal with members of the public. It's like, well, that's great. I see where you're coming from. But let's get back to talking about dealing with me, bona fide member of the press.
Yeah.
So wasn't best impressed with being talked down to there. So still lots of questions to be answered. Bachmann really don't want to deal with me. They seem to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder about YouTubers. But hey, I will still review Bachmann products, and I will do it with the utmost of honesty and integrity, because that's what I do as a bona fide journalist.
Yeah.
So there will be fair reviews, but all of the Bachmann models that I get will be, I wasn't even asking for review samples, just wanted press releases. And they said, oh, you can get them from the from other media outlets. I'm sorry, but the BBC doesn't get its news from CNN. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. They'll work it out eventually. The problem is, will they work it out in time?
So anyway, of course, prices. I think what's really brought it home is the fact that the Helgen Class 35 and the former DJ models J94 have reappeared in the EFE rail range from Bachmann, and they've had a bit of a price hike. And most glaring is actually the Helgen Class 35, which Helgen themselves are selling for something like £20 or £30 less than what Bachmann are selling it for.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, we can see that.
I honestly believe that they've worked out that market skimming works well for them, which is basically they'll put their prices as high as they can. Now we've got one question that keeps coming up, and I've just made it disappear accidentally. Hang on, I will get back to it. And
whilst you're looking for it, a big hello to Clive Cobold from a wet Northern Ireland. We could do with some of that wetness to cool things down. St Mary's
I've got
Church
a nice
Model
cool
Railway,
breeze coming
hi
up.
to you. Colin Wykes, hi to you. Minnie, Westaston Junction. Katie Moss, Stuart Muir, Jeff Hammond, Flint's Hills, Engage. Gary Lewis, Evening Jenny and Zoe, too hot in lofts, are watching from the comfort of the settee in living room. I wish we could do this from downstairs. Andy 1962 says, I was already gutted to be told I wouldn't now be getting Athol, but I'm now near exploding to learn Hornby selling on their website months after we all ordered from our retailer of choice. And that is one of the questions that I've put to Hornby. And tomorrow we will be making a video on what we found in our little... It's quite nice to get back to investigative journalists. I feel like Jenny Kirk, the Kirk Report, sticking my foot in a door.
Yeah, but we're giving them time to reply, because I honestly hope that it's an administrative error. I really do. But here's the question. Go on then.
One quick comment before it disappears. Aram Sele says, hi Jenny, great channel. Thank you very much. Don't forget to tickle the like button, share the video, and subscribe too. Don't forget to subscribe. So do you have a Class 25? Yeah, I've got quite a few actually.
You like them, don't you?
I'm trying to see if there's a camera angle where I can get one on. Class 25. Let's see now. Well, I think I've got about 14 or 15. There's one. There's one over. Excuse me, one over there. One there.
Jen, just stay in that position because the fan is blowing cool air at me.
Oh right, okay. So yeah, I have a lot of Class 25s. I think there might be a few. Oh, it's
not going to like it.
Can I get the cable up?
Probably not.
Just about see them up there
on your shelf.
So I do have an awful lot of Class 25s. One of my favourite classes of locomotive. But anyway, Cupboard Monkey, what is the question?
This is a question from British Railways Locos, which I'm pretty sure he asked last week as well. Have you ever tried a train simulator for console or computer? Now, he's asked that a few times tonight. I'm pretty sure he asked it last week as well, and we answered then as well.
But yes, because we've done the train simulator.
Train simulator.
We talked about, I think it was either a Class 40 or a Class 45.
Yeah.
And we got off at Leeds Station, as you can do in this train simulator. I'm like marvelling at it. And then this train was just sort of trundling out. And Cupboard Monkey's like looking around. And I said, I think that's our train. Oh, no. I left it parked in the platform. I said, no, seriously, that's our train. And she hadn't put the handbrake on, so it started trundling off on the idle.
And we had to run after.
And we're literally running down the ballast in this simulator to get back into this, either a Class 40 or Class 45. And she wouldn't believe me until looked around the station. It's like,
and there's no train.
It's not here. Yeah, don't forget where we parked. So yeah, we have tried it.
That was a fun one, and it's what made you really like. What was it, the Class 40 or Class 45? I can't remember which.
It was one or the other. The sound was actually very, very good.
It was exceptional. We were sat there playing it on Xbox in our lounge with the surround sound on.
Yeah, proper quality sound system.
So good. Yeah, I'm not really one for trains, I have to admit. I'm here as a production assistant, essentially.
Just here as a nuisance.
Yeah, well, I'm making sure that everything works in the background. And you're the one that really enjoys the trains. So we were just doing it as something to do together, and I actually really got into it. It was fun. It's not as good as flight simulators, but trains were a lot of fun. It was really good.
So what else do we have in the comments?
Let's have a look. Katie Moss says, are you guys enjoying your apple crumble? Yes, very much so.
Homemade by the Cupboard Monkey.
Oh, Dongit's Model Railway says if you were playing on PC, Control Zero would have put you back in the seat. Yeah, but we're on Xbox and we ran out of buttons.
And we didn't know that either. Andy1962 says, I spoke to Bachman's publicity rep at Model Rail Scotland back in February, and he was downright condescending and rude to me and other visitors. Complete opposite to SK, Simon Kohler at Hornby. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I've talked to a few people who kind of say the same. And I don't know whether there's a culture at Bachman or whether it's, quite often in these things, if you've got the public face is not interested in dealing with certain groups of people, it can give an image of a company that really doesn't care. But actually, it could just be one person in that company.
Yeah.
It's like when you go into a shop and there's always some miserable person behind the counter and you think, what an awful shop. But you could go in on a day where it's their day off and somebody else is serving, and a completely different atmosphere.
Absolutely.
But I believe the person I spoke to at Bachman was Richard Proudman. I don't know whether that was the same person you spoke to. I'm led to believe that they're media officers, something like that.
Yeah, I really honestly believe that they're still stuck in the 90s.
Quick question here. Hardy Hat says, does anybody know when the Caledonian 812 will come out? Now, I believe that Rails of Sheffield are expecting livery samples sooner rather than later. But obviously, as soon as they have something to share, they'll put it out, and I'll probably find out then. They have just shared livery samples of the Northeastern Railway, petrol-electric rail car, and hopefully in the future, there's going to be an interesting event coming up to kind of promote that. So I will let you know when I know something more about it.
We're now being asked what the simulator we were playing was called. Train Sim World. It's currently, if you have Game Pass or you've got Game Pass Ultimate, so you get games with gold and everything as well, then it's currently free to play. You can just grab it if you have the Game Pass, which is how we got it.
Actually, Kingspan Cutting, this is really important. I was thinking about one of those portable aircon units for the loft and venting it out through the eaves. I've currently got 2 evaporative coolers, but they can't cope with anything above 26 degrees centigrade.
You have an extraction fan into the eaves.
We've got an extraction fan, and I've got it running, so I do apologise if there's a little bit of bass noise coming through. We've also got 2 fans running as well, and actually it's not as hot as I felt it get here. You've got a shocked expression.
Yeah, David Baker's answering questions. Someone was asking about the Hornby Captain Tom Class 66 when it was coming out. And according to David Baker, his arrived today.
Right, I do have some information on that. I know some people have been saying, well, hold on, we're hearing about some people getting them, and I've heard nothing. Essentially what happened is that on Friday, Hornby started posting them out. But their parcel courier, I think it's DPD, turned up in a little van. I don't think they quite understood how many of these people had ordered. So they filled the van with as many as would actually fit in the van on Friday. And I'm told that the rest will be dispatched. Should have been dispatched today. It may even carry over into tomorrow. But as far as I'm aware, there is no supply issues with that Class 66 model. So those of you who have ordered them, don't fret. They are on their way. It's just quite simply there's so many people ordered them that I think it's a case that they couldn't fit them in the van. So that's what's happening with those. So I wouldn't worry if you haven't had yours just yet.
All of a sudden I'm just thinking, Class 60, how do you eat yours?
Alex Pomeroy, has anyone been to a heritage line since they've started running again? Nipped to the East Lancs yesterday to see their standard Class 4 tank. That's our local railway, our local heritage railway. I haven't, but on I think it's the 13th of September, Garthian has incredibly generously arranged for us to go to the Stratford Barn Railway. So really looking forward to that. Big hello to Southern Train Girl. Hi to you. And O'Neill, it's great to see you in the chat too. So hello Jenny, Zoe and everyone. I hope you're all well. We are, apart from this sweltering humidity. It must be so...
well, I'm really starting to feel this heat.
Yeah, actually, we've got an extractor fan running, but really, the extractor fan, in all honesty, is being completely outclassed by the heat. And it's not really the heat being generated by the sun on the tiles. The problem is that this room is incredibly well insulated and hot air rises, so we're getting heat coming up through the loft hatch and it kind of sticks up here. And when you first come up here, it's actually quite cool, but it rapidly heats up because the amount of lighting that we've got in here so that you can actually see us on the cameras, the computer gear, everything is generating heat, including us. And the extractor fan is a bathroom style extractor fan, and what I'm thinking of doing is getting one of those air conditioning units and using the pipe out to under the eaves to dump the hot air from an air conditioning unit. Don gets Model Railway, hi to you. I don't think there's another Class 45 at Leeds on Xbox, so it has to be Train Simulator World.
It was Train Simulator World and it was fun. We might even play it a bit later on.
Maybe. Melchester Model Railway. How can Horn be so social media friendly, yet Bachmann keep it at arm's length? Doesn't seem to make good business sense. I know, you think that, I think that, and I'll be honest with you, it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, we've seen this as the world has changed. You know, you go back even just 10 years and the world was a very different place. Social media was very much more niche. And I think unfortunately there's some stick in the muds out there in business who still regard social media, things like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, as almost being like kids playing. And it isn't like that. And in all honesty, you know, we've seen brands fall by the wayside because they couldn't adapt to the changes in society. And actually, the people running Bachmann's media presence really are stuck in the past.
They need to get with the program.
You know, I will actually, you know, I will call them out on this and say, you're wrong. You need to embrace social media because it's not a hindrance. It's not about people wanting freebies. You know, embrace it. Effectively, a lot of people will give you free publicity, will promote your products, and will create the same kind of buzz that we're seeing with Hornby. And Hornby do social media so well. They've got a great team fronted there by Mike Day. There's also Montana who are in there as well. And they do an amazing job. And in many ways, they are the template on how it should be. And Bachmann really should wake up, smell the coffee, and see that Hornby are trailblazing there, and actually they need to jump on that bandwagon.
Absolutely, and Hornby's channel is great as well. Weren't you on that recently?
I was on that channel recently with the birthday cake celebration layout that I built for Hornby. It's one of the two super secret projects that's been on the go. And what I will say to you about
What's
that
the other one?
Well, it's secret, isn't it?
Sorry guys, I thought I could get her to tell you.
No. So today, the other bit of big news is that is now on its way down to Hornby HQ. Right, I hope you're scanning the comments whilst I'm talking.
I am. I'm always scanning the comments. That's how it works.
Hythe Kent says media officers aren't trained to be customer facing. Trust me.
This is true.
It could be argued that they are the wrong person for the job then in this day and age if they treat social media influencers. There's a reason that people are called influencers on these when they get quite a reasonable following. It's because they literally do influence people's buying habits. So if they're not embracing that, then unfortunately they're not doing their job properly. You know, it's not 2000 anymore. It's not a time when the internet was a curiosity. The internet is here to stay. It is the main feature. If anything, the high street is what is withering away.
Sad but true. I would love the high street to be able to keep up, but it just doesn't seem to want to do it.
David Baker says Southend Airport is only 150 yards away from me. So you probably remember back in, I think it was about 2001, 2002, the Coda Air Boeing 707 actually dated back to, I think it was 1959. So quite an old beast. And I do remember the report on it that the engines were completely shot. And in the actual police report when they impounded it, the part of the plane's cargo was big 5-litre bottles of hydraulic oil, so they could keep topping up the engine system because it was completely shot. I mean, it was burning oil worse than an old Ford Cortina.
My goodness. David Baker says, Jenny, what do you think of the Bachmann Europe YouTube channel?
The Bachmann Europe YouTube channel?
I looked for it one time, couldn't find it.
I'll be honest with you, it's just like, it doesn't feel like they've got much of a presence. And it's a very stark contrast to Bachmann USA. Now, Bachmann USA do seem to be much more on the ball. And I know from talking to Ken Patterson, who you'll remember from the What's Neat This Week podcast, do check him out and do subscribe and tell him I sent you. But he said that, you know, he's found working with the likes of Bachmann, Woodland Scenics, he also works with Athern, and NCE and a whole load of other companies, Walthers. He says it's a different attitude in the US, and they're much more in tune with the way the world now works. So Bachmann USA is actually a channel to go and look at. Yeah, obviously it's all American outline stuff. And also the Woodland Scenics YouTube channel, do check them out as well. There's some great videos that they put up detailing some of their products. And you think, you know, Woodland Scenics in Europe is distributed by Bachmann. And so, you know, the parent company in Lynn Creek in the US is so proactive on social media. They've got Facebook pages and everything. And yet their distributor in the UK is just poo-pooing people who want to review their product, who want to actually be the first to know so they can make video content and tell people about their product. I mean, it's like, what do you want, the moon on a stick?
But oh no, it's the wrong colour, we don't want that. Come back when you've got a pink one.
Right.
Paul Cottrell says, I love the high drama of the model railway world. Yeah.
Somerset Andy says, when I spoke to Hornby, probably about January, they were great because my select controller packed up. From sending it to them, I had it back repaired in 7 days. And actually, yeah, Hornby have been really great with that. And I must admit as well, I'm just making sure all the trains are still running. Yes, they are. Bachmann's service department is pretty good as well. I have used them once or twice. Things do sometimes go wrong, and also getting spare parts for various projects. I have to say, in fairness to Bachmann, their service department is very, very good.
Yeah.
Hello to Aiden's Railways. There's a lot of people saying that their Captain Tom Moore 66 is coming, is down to come tomorrow. So I think it's going to sort itself out. But don't worry, if you've ordered the Captain Tom Moore Class 66 from Hornby, it's quite simply there's an awful lot of them to come out.
Jonesy Town and Weird Transport says, do you use TikTok? No.
No, don't do TikTok. Andy 1962 says, yes, Jenny, it was Richard Proudman I spoke to. Another visitor in my presence called him out for his rudeness and the way he'd spoken to him. He just laughed at the guy, professional not. Yeah, I found his email rather arrogant. Yeah, that is my opinion, but it's interesting to learn that other people have completely independently found the same. So, Richard, if you're watching this, I think you need to improve your bedside manner.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Matt Ovell says they may be out of touch, but I can't wait for my Bachmann lined pannier. I have to admit, just one guy doesn't mean that the company's bad. Bachmann makes some good stuff. I like some of their trains have great art.
Yeah, I mean, and today actually we've got my favourite locomotive of all time going around. You'll just be about to see it coming into frame round here, and that is the H1 Atlantic in Marsh Umber with the London Brighton South Coast livery on the tender, and that's chugging around with a rake of what are actually mostly specially commissioned Bachmann wagons. Although on the very back, you will find that there is a Hornby London and South Western Railway Warner brake van. Also, the locomotive that is currently road testing, literally, the DCC Concepts Rolling Road, that is a Bachmann City class, City of London. We've also got the Bachmann stroke NRM Deltic prototype going around with a full rake of mostly Bachmann coaches, although there are a couple of Hornby in there. So we've got my RTC stock and the other engineer's yellow stock going round. And actually it's a Bachmann Class 37. So we've got a lot of Bachmann stuff going on up here. You know, I like the products. What I don't like is the really poor quality of getting the media out there. I've probably been blacklisted now, but as they weren't giving me even press releases before,
and that's all you're
really lost anything.
And that's
I?
all you're asking for, basically. Hi, we're new media.
Yeah, and to tell me to go and get it from you could get it off other real media websites. It's like push off, Sonny Jim.
Yeah, we know how to look at the website, son.
Yeah. I know news. I know how it works. And like I said, BBC doesn't get told, you can go to CNN to get your news. It doesn't work like that, Sonny Jim.
All you want to be on is the mailing list for the press releases. Like any other news outlet. You make your news show.
Yeah. Ben Davis, nice Class 8 and love it running. And that is actually a Hornby Class 8. I will say I've got a lot of the Bachmann ones as well, and I do like the Bachmann models. Now, the Bachmann versus Hornby Class 8 debate, I think they are fairly close. The Hornby one is slightly better, but also slightly more expensive. The Bachmann one, it does hold its own, and it has the benefit as being really quite plentiful and a lot more livery options. But that is the Hornby one. It's the Piccadilly. It is sound fitted, but I'm not running stuff with sound because it's just too loud.
Okay, I've got an interesting question here. Just come in from Stuart Muir. Hi Jenny, what do you think of Gosport Railworks channel? He has built a model railway on top of a bunk bed. And Stuart thinks that's a genius idea if you haven't got room for a layout.
I haven't seen it. It must be said, I have not seen that channel. However, it's interesting you talk about building a model railway on a bunk bed. When I was young, I'm trying to think, I'd probably be about 6 or 7 years old. I had bunk beds in my bedroom. It was basically the box room. I had the box room. And actually, quite cleverly, I slept on the top bunk, and my model railway was on the bottom bunk. There was no mattress on the bottom bunk. It was just a baseboard secured in position, and that was my model railway. So it's not a new thing, but it is certainly a great way of utilising space. Effectively, you're double-decking the bed with the model railway. So it is a great idea.
Ham Shackleton says it's a good idea, but the bottom sleeper has to keep still or all the stock falls off the track.
I never had an issue with mine, it must be said.
But you weren't sleeping below it, and therefore rocking the entire thing while you were
in bed. The trick
is
sleep on the top bunk, because all the kids want to be on the top bunk, so why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Plus, of course, in prison rules, being on the top bunk means you're the one in charge.
This is an interesting one. Robert Cesare said, I had a bad experience with the Thurnes train show a couple of years ago. The people working the table ignored the public. Interestingly enough, though, the next year, new people, new attitude. And that's it. At some point, somebody higher up in the company goes, actually, you're not working out for us. We best get in somebody who actually knows what they're doing instead of just alienates people. Interesting. Tim Condrup says, Jenny, it's thundering where I live in Llandudno. That is great. So actually,
I wish it was thundering here.
Well, it could be on its way here. We never know. A.D. Pullen says, London Brighton South Coast Railway H1 looks good on a goods train. Actually, to be honest, that locomotive looks good, whatever you do with it. The SECR Birdcage coaches, again from Bachmann, I do have a set of 3. They have released a further set of 3 in the SECR livery. It actually looks great with them. But the other one, not to be overlooked, if you're not too much of a stickler for prototypical accuracy, they and also the Great Central Railway locos like the 9J, later J11, look great with the Hornby teak coaches, the super detailed teak coaches, Gresley teaks. So there are some options that really do look something special, even if they're not necessarily 100% prototypically accurate.
Water Road says, talking of great content, both Jenny and I did brilliant videos on a 5-inch gauge. I think I was there with that one. Is that a certain one that seemed to go viral there, Wardle Road?
Yes, Wardle Road. I'm really sorry because you did ask me to plug your next video. So yes, Wardle Road has a new video coming out which apparently does feature a little bit of me in it as well. So if you've really been enjoying Tales from the 5-inch gauge railway, that really brilliant one somewhere in the secret wilds of Cambridgeshire, which Ollie really generously invited me down to, then don't forget to check out Wardle Road's channel, and if you've not already done so, do subscribe to that. Click the like button, share, all that kind of business. Do the same on this as well. Yeah, definitely one to look out for. There's some great videos coming through. I'm quite jealous actually, because it's getting all the good gigs, and it shows some quality videos coming through there. I'm probably well out of touch. James G says,
Jenny has just realised that being a train enthusiast sat in her loft in the middle of the evening, that she might be a bit out of touch. Yes. Yes,
Nexus Gaming says, hello Auntie Jenny and Zoe.
Hi,
so
Zach.
That'll be Zach or possibly Max, so big hello to you. Boo!
Hello.
Ben Davis says, hi Jennifer Kirk, are you going to get the 10-ton covered salt wagon Snowdrift Salt Green Weathered? I have seen that announced, and I know that I actually cite the Snowdrift Salt wagon in the green as being one of my favourite wagons. I like green. I really do like green. But I must actually...
Madame?
I'm starting to get quite dehydrated, it must be said. So if we end up having to knock off early, it is simply because of the heat. But we'll keep going for as long as we can. We're going to try and keep ourselves fully hydrated. The beverage of choice today is just Diet Coke.
Hokey Cokey. Oh, hokey cokey. Is that still in copyright? Did I just violate copyright? Will we be getting a YouTube strike?
I think it's out of copyright.
I'm pretty sure anything I sing won't get a copyright strike because none of it will register as music.
They won't recognise it from your crucifixion of it. Paul Higgins says, hi Jenny. Phil Parsons, hi to you. Chris Hale's Heritage Railway, tea finished, so can tithe again. A hi to everyone that I haven't said hi to. Well, a big hi to you.
Frazzle Bun says here, hi Jenny, have you got a merchant navy? No, don't give her ideas, she doesn't need a navy.
I don't have a merchant navy. I would love a rebuilt merchant navy or a rebuilt West Country class. Either of those. It's just simply a case of it's on the list of ones that I need to get. I know that at the moment we're kind of putting any money that comes through the Super Chat or the paypal.me link that's in the description box. I think we said a 9F, but I could be persuaded by either by a rebuilt West Country or Merchant Navy. I'm not sure what's available at the moment. I know that one of the Centenary Edition versions of, I think it's Clan Line, has come out recently, but it's gold-plated. I'm not really keen on the gold-plated look. Gwian Rhys Davies, big hi to you. Stuart Muir. Hi, we've already done that.
Well, while you're looking for things, Jen, didn't you declare this layout as your own personal empire and created a micronation? I thought when they were asking about a merchant navy, that's what they were talking about.
No.
Adding a merchant navy to the empire of Jennytopia, Empress Jenny.
Yes, okay. Now then, come on, behave yourself.
We did just do that as a joke.
Warwick Road Andy says, what about a 5-inch gauge Class 8? I would love one, actually. We've been trying to track one down at a reasonable price.
Gronk it up, baby.
2 of them slipped through my fingers. I know that Wardle Road has very, very kindly been on the lookout for various bits and pieces. So, so hopefully, I would love that. I actually really like Standard Class 4. There's a 264 model that you can buy ready-made, live steam in 5-inch gauge. It's about £8,000, and I really love the look of it. The problem is when you go live steam, it comes with a lot of extra issues like boiler tests, insurance. Certification. There's so many pitfalls.
Yeah, it's safety first though.
Yeah.
I've got a brilliant one here from Hardy Hat, which I was just giggling at. He says he wants to make a troller motif. Take an A1, paint it LMS red, put Great Western Railroad decals on it, add a cowcatcher and a diesel horn, and make it pull American boxcars. How bad would he be hated?
Very much. You'd have to actually, why not make the train, the first wagon in the train would be a rivet detecting van, and it would just be a van with like a little thing that spins around on top like one of those radar dishes, and just say rivet detecting van. And then maybe behind that have one in like a police livery, and it would just be Fun Police, something like that. We could.
Oh, that would be great. You need to put that on one of your layouts and take it around on Grove Street Yard.
Stretch edits. Is Jenny about 15 minutes behind the comments? Something like that.
Jen is so far behind that I'm actually sitting right at the bottom of the comments to keep an eye on them as they come in, and that's why some of you are getting your comments brought out.
Thomas Whittington, hi Jenny and Zoe, finally got around to viewing your show. Well, thank you very much, great to see you. Don't forget to tickle that like button if you haven't already done so. Share the stream to all manner of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever's your poison. Let everybody know that they are all more than welcome to come and join us. And also, if you've not already done so, do tickle that subscribe button as well.
What's that, Instagram? Just add water.
Instagram, isn't that what? I think that was on the card that we sent to my dad.
It probably was, but my joke was Instagram. Just add water.
George Doherty, have you heard from Hornby re the Duchess yet? I haven't. I have been in contact with Simon Kohler, and Simon has promised to answer the questions that I raised by tomorrow. So hopefully we will have an update video. Excuse me. That we will quickly put together tomorrow, and we'll put that out as a special video. But I thought it was only fair to wait until Hornby got back to me. They've promised me that they'll get back to me tomorrow, so that's when we're going to be making the video. Ham Shackleton asks, has Jenny fitted those chokes yet? Yes, I have. I've got them fitted. I made the mistake of going, is that working? Is that working? And I actually burnt the tip of my finger. I then asked Richard Brighton at DCC Concepts. I said, "Are they working? If they're like getting red hot, like like you touch them and it feels like it's burnt your finger." And he says, "Actually, yeah. If they're warm to the touch, they're like 65 degrees centigrade." He said, "Then they are doing their thing. You have to worry if they're cold because it basically means they're not doing anything." So I have fitted them to the layout, and hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, that's going to sort that problem out.
Can I just say, guys, it's so hot in here, it's like a sauna. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to stay on much longer, Jen.
You're actually starting to drip. I'm wondering whether you should actually go downstairs.
Yeah, I don't feel very well, Jen.
I know, it is incredibly hot up here, and if I look like I'm glistening, then, it's glistening. It's such a horrible word when applied to a person.
Glisten.
But certainly, you can go downstairs, but you can leave your fan. In fact, if you go downstairs, take your computer, you can put the fan on there blowing directly at me, and I might just manage to make my way all the way through.
Okay, I'm going to leave you to it, Pip.
Red hot. James Pett's actually interesting. Merchant Navy is better than a 9F. It's like,
them's fighting words, aren't they?
Yeah, them's fighting words. I'd love to get both, to be honest, but hey. Tim Davis is drinking some Dr. Pepper Zero right now. I actually really quite like that.
It's so misunderstood.
Richard Swiderski says, Dapol do some good salt wagons. I really keep meaning to get one. It's just, at the moment, I've just filmed a review of the Turbot wagon. I think that's how you pronounce it, in O gauge from Dapol. And I think we have a new contender, quite possibly, for... Oh, there's a fly or something.
Is this spoiler alerts?
I think we may have a new contender for Wagon of the Year, but is it best or worst? That was a good save there. See, good save?
Yeah. I do try.
George says, waiting for the BR Blue Streamlined Merchant Navy. Oh, interesting. Frazzle Gun says, Clan Line is definitely the best Merchant Navy of all time. Right. Let's have a look. Jonesy Tynan Weir Transport says, hi Jenny, have you got any HST locos? I haven't actually. Ham Shackleton says, wouldn't a ribbit detector look for frogs? Gary Lewis says, blimey, I've got steam locos that Jenny hasn't got. I've got 3 rebuilt Merchant Navy locos and 2 smooth-sided West Country locos.
And a partridge in a pear tree?
I've got one which is a spam cam, but I think it's a Battle of Britain type one. But I'm not really well up on the Southern locos. They all look the same to me. Battle of Britain, Merchant Navy, and West Country. But definitely it's the case of don't try and take too much at once there, Cupboard Monkey. You'll come a cropper. Do I not get this?
I'm not finished yet.
Okay, I'm trying to...
Don't break it, don't break it.
I'm trying not to break it, but you give me no choice. I need my fan. Oh. Right, oh, that is pleasing to me. Sorry, I'm just... people are watching the stream. What the heck is she doing? But I am... Oh, you wouldn't believe the relief. I've got a fan, a very weedy fan, blowing air at me. So let's just... Apparently it only has one setting.
Yeah, I've sped it up.
Yeah, so I've got two fans. Actually, I feel a lot better now. So let's just change the camera angle. Why has my phone decided... Whoa, stupid phone.
What have you done now?
It's either like, yes, you really want to post stickers in the chat? What does it think I am, 3? Right.
For those of you who do like stickers, there are possibilities.
See you later. There is. Mark Wilson, thanks for liking my diesel hydraulic layout pen mouth on the Model Rail network. That is a great layout, I have to say. I've been really impressed with those photos.
Guys, can I just say something before Jen keeps going?
What?
Because I'm going downstairs, I won't be here to sort out the videos.
Right, I'm afraid we're not going to be able to do the videos at the end of this video, but hopefully we'll catch up next week. It's just too hot, and the cupboard monkey is definitely not heat powered.
No, I have an illness and I need to stay out of the heat.
I've just noticed that the deceitful prototype Deltic has dumped all of its coaches where it thought that I wouldn't notice.
It's clearly too hot for it. It doesn't want to do any work.
Yeah, so it was going to go round and deceitfully push the coaches the other way. So I'm just going to roll this back. You'll just see that in the sort of right hand side of your screen. We're actually thinking of moving that camera because I'll be honest with you, it kind of misses out on much of the action. Let's just get that back up to speed. Keep an eye on you, you naughty thing. Right, I don't know how far off I am of the bottom. Oh, I think I'm up to date here. Melchester Model Railway says, I only buy Southern locos with the occasional Great Western if it was known to appear on the Southern. I thought the problem with the Great Western Railway locomotives was that Great Western was a little bit more generous with its loading gauge because it had the luxury of having once upon a time being mostly broad gauge. So a lot of the locomotives like the Kings and the Castles had pat cylinders that stuck out a little bit. So they were a little bit restricted, straying off the Great Western, it has to be said. Bang got you Junction Cole Brown says, Chris, I prefer corned beef to Spam. I have to say that corned beef I prefer to Spam. Spam is a bit weird. Nexus Gaming says, oh, hold on, it just suddenly jumped. Nexus Gaming, what is your remote control that you use? Well, no, that's my actual DCC controller. That's a Gauge Master Prodigy Express. So that then plugs into a DCC Concepts Alpha booster, and that's what powers the layout. It's not really a remote control as such, and this is just my iPhone. So I've got a copy of the stream so I can read the comments. Dongits Model Railway says, no videos. In that case, can I post my latest one in the chat? I got the first train running on my layout during the week. Yeah, absolutely fine. That's fine. I'm just sorry about the fact the cupboard monkey, the heat and the humidity more than anything else has really made her struggle. So yeah, no worries. If you post that in the comments. And as I always say, I don't mind if people want to plug their YouTube channel. It's, you know, don't go wild, but you know, just once in the comments is absolutely fine. I don't frown on that, so hopefully some of the mods will help facilitate that. Simon, hold on. Simon Trains MRS Deltic being evil today. Seems to be behaving now. I think it thought I wasn't looking. Russell Benton, yours is a great railway, Melchester. Yeah, I mean, some of the layouts we've seen on the videos, I'm a bit saddened in a way that we can't really show them today due to the heat. Some of the videos really are amazing that we've seen from some of you guys. So hopefully we'll have a bumper session maybe next week. Don gets... oh, sorry, I've already read that one. Robert says, what size gun do they have in the turret? And are they painted Battleship Grey? Not sure what that's in reference to be honest. Tim Condrup asks, can the smoke store in the City of London open? Mine does. Yeah, it does, funnily enough. Let's get the roving camera. You know, I've never tried. It's one of those things. I have never ever tried to... oh, come here, you stupid thing. I've never tried opening it before, so I didn't know it did this. So let's get on the roving cam. You can see the smoke box door does open. I never knew that. And there's actually a representation in there which, I'll be perfectly honest with you, is not very good because it doesn't line up with the chimney. So I never knew it could do that. That's a bit gimmicky, but there we are. We live and learn. So yeah, just push that back in. I never knew it would do that. And whilst we've got this camera out, there is a close-up of the diesel shunter, and as you can see, those DCC concepts, rolling road kits, they're available. This kit covers 00, EM, P4, HOE, N and 009, of course, yeah, N and 009, OTT as well. They have interchangeable inserts, and I do believe they also sell kits that will cover you for O gauge as well. So really pleased with these, and a big thank you of course to DCC Concepts for sending these over for me to try out. And I'm going to just see if can I find... Ah, come in. Funnily enough, let me just... this is the packaging, if you're interested. DCC Concepts multi-gauge rolling road, and it's got the extra spare inserts in there, and it also covers Hornby 003 rail. Let me just put you on a more stable camera. You can actually, it works as well for, I think it's Trix and Mark, the pickup from a third rail skate. Really impressed, but I can actually test run my Hornby 003 rail on them. Garthian, I spent the weekend at Statfold Barn Railway on guard duty. Took some videos that I'm currently creating a compilation for my channel. We'll be uploading it once it's ready and send a link to Zoe. Very much looking forward to that, Garthian. And thank you very much again as well for the invite on the 13th of September. Clive Cobalt says, hi Jenny, I would like Hornby to retool the Mark 3A sleeper coaches. Interesting, actually I could see a need for that. James Kett says, no need to apologise, we wouldn't want Zoe to be ill. She is a sickly child, I have to admit. Andrew Davis, but thank you very much for that sentiment, don't worry about it. Andrew Davis, how about making a tunnel on the track that a long train into, doing a circuit out of sight, and then comes out the other end of the tunnel, making it appear longer than it looks? Not quite sure how to do that. Garthian says, you'll love the videos from Statford Barn Railway, the Ultimate Train Set, and thank you very much, Flymo Chairman 1, for sharing that video as well. Ben Tullett says, there's a monsoon outside. Oh, it can't come here soon enough. I hope it visits us. Mark Wilson, is that the super duper class 40 running around? No, that is actually a class 37. So I'm going to just show you as well. It's got quite a nice sound chip in as well. So really quite pleased with that, and it's quite slow running. That's on full speed. So it's like slow and steady, wins the day. There is lights, I think. Yeah, the lights are working. But as you can imagine, the sound can get overpowering after a while. I really do like that. I was never a 37 fan, but I've warmed to them over time. Roger Hunter says, wish I had help with my track laying. I had a stroke, can't use my right hand. Sorry to hear that. Certainly, one of the things to do would be maybe make contact with local model railway clubs. And I'm sure there'll be somebody there as well be able to help. Let's have a look. James Pett says, the City class is lovely. Now, they first introduced it as a special commission as City of Truro for, it was actually for the National Railway Museum. It then reappeared in the main range in the guise of City of Bath and City of London, which is what this one is. And then in turn, let me just see, I'm going to change the direction that it's running. It's running in nicely, actually. This rolling road is working wonders for the smoothness of that locomotive, it has to be said. But they also do Kilkenny, I think, is another one that I've got. And I think more recently they released City of Birmingham. That sounds a little bit rougher at the moment, I have to say, running that in reverse. I suspect it started out sounding like that going forwards and has slowly quietened down. So I'm just going to leave that running. It's actually on quite a low power setting. North End Sidings Model Railway. Jenny, recently there was a huge discussion on their It's My Railway, I'll Run What I Like Facebook page. And the topic was, do you find DCC sound a tad unnecessary and a bit of a gimmick? I found that actually it wasn't the unique selling point that I thought it was going to be. Actually, I'm going to stop there. It's showing signs of overheating a bit. No. I can't smell the magic smoke, but certainly that's been running for about an hour or so. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a break. I don't want to tempt fate, but certainly it's been running really nicely on there. I thought that sounds, for me, what made me go, it thought I wouldn't notice, didn't it? Didn't it? Yeah, cheeky little, cheek. Right, I think, let me just set that up. Hey, what are you doing? Yeah, come back here. Right, sorry, people are wondering what the heck I'm talking about. So, you just see on this camera, hopefully, just behind the chat room text. It seems to be working now. Let's just... I'm just going to double check that coupling. Has it coupled? Ah, right, I see. What's going on here then? Right, let's just we'll keep an eye on that, I think. Right, anyway, sorry, where were we? Ah, yes, meanwhile back at the ranch. Yeah, I thought, so I've got a hair in my mouth. I thought, for me, what made me go DCC was partly the convenience of being able to have every locomotive on your layout at the same time and, you know, just pick and choose. Simplify the wiring a little bit so you could have different sections. You didn't need different sections anymore. But also, I think it was when I started hearing the DCC sound, I thought, there we are, I'm in now. And when I started using it, what I actually find is that I find the sound a little bit tedious. It's not always for me. It's nice every once in a while, but I wouldn't have the sound on all the time. I found DCC itself, I wouldn't go back to DC. I think there's so many advantages to DCC running the trains that I really wouldn't go back. But I also don't go out of my way to buy sound chips because I think that the DCC sound can get very boring after a while. But don't get me wrong, there's currently 2 sound locomotives actually trundling around the layout. They've just got the sound turned off. Right. Flymo Chairman 1 says, I've had that surprise with a 264 tank that I have and didn't know it did that. The smoke box opening. Actually, I've got a Fairburn and a standard class 4. Maybe I'll check at some point. B. Mozza says, the first run standard 4 tanks had opening smoke box door but were glued shut on later runs. I suspect that they had issues with it basically being a little bit fragile. One assumes that you could unglue the door and make it work, but I don't know whether what's inside is an insert or not. But let's just put it to the test. I don't know where my standard class 4 actually is. Where are you? I think it might be in one of these storage drawers. I'll just open one more. If it's not there, oh, funnily enough, standard class 4, 800, what have we got? 800, 118. I don't know whether it'll open. Oh my word! Let's get the roving cam out. Would you believe it? That's actually nicer. That's a lot nicer. Right, I'm going to get the roving camera out. Just going to put that there. I never knew it did this. This is a voyage of discovery, is it not? So, as you can see on the screen now, I never ever knew that my standard class 4 had an opening smoke box door. And actually, this is much you really can't see with this camera is just not focusing close enough, and it being really dark in there. That is actually really nice in there. They've done the inside of the smoke box properly. It's not like with the City class where it just doesn't look right. That is actually really, really nice. So there you go. That's completely new to me. Well, I never. I'm going to shut that though, because me being clumsy, I'll probably knock it and break it. But I never ever knew. That is one of those things you learn, you live and learn. Right. Yeah, Gary Lewis says, I've got the City of Bath 440. I'll have to see if the smoke box door on it opens. I think it will, because City of Bath and City of London both came out at the same time. Ben Tullett says that rolling road is ideal for my test track. Yeah, and Flymo Chairman 1, thank you very much. I posted a link, excuse me, to DCC Concepts, and it's performed faultlessly. I've had it now since Saturday, and I'm actually really pleased with it. It's now allowing me to run. I'm going to turn it up. You probably hear it. I can run locos on DC because, of course, it doesn't care what track you put it on. It will work on DCC and it will work on DC. So you only really need one set to do both. I'm going to turn that off because it's loud. Guion Reese Davies, didn't know they did a multi-gauge kit. I have a rolling road, but the slide along a square bar that allows it to be compatible with a range of gauges. Interesting to see how 3-rail works. Now, with the 3-rail, what it actually has is, if I can just get one of these out, it actually has a crocodile clip that connects to, it's like a bar, and that bar screws to, there's some screw holes in the distance piece on the, let me just move that to one side, and I can't really show you, but there is a screw hole, and you screw in effectively a 3rd rail that goes on these that are underneath the pickups, and it allows you to do that, and then you use the crocodile clip to just clip literally to the 3rd rail to power that up. And yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how it actually works. So I will be using that because I do service my father's collection of Hornby 00 locos, and it does make it a lot easier to test run stuff here. Gas Street Heritage Railway, Stroudley Terrier, A1X Class, BR Line Blank, Early Crest, number 32655, DCC Sound, arriving early next month at last. This is the Rails one. I have heard from Oliver at Rails that they're hoping for the beginning of next month. May come out a bit earlier, but they're giving the date of early September to hopefully give them a little bit of a breathing space just in case of anything unforeseen. Actually, I think he might have told me not to tell anybody that, but yeah, beginning of September is officially when they're due. I'm really looking forward to some of the other sound fitted options as well. They've got a number of different liveries coming out, including that Brighton Brighton Terrier. Hopefully, I think we'll see. Is it Box Hill for the National Railway Museum will finally arrive. There's also the Southeastern and Chatham Railway lined green, very, very pretty livery. The Western Cleveland and Clevedon and Portishead Railway. Can never remember which number. I think the Great Western Railway with the shirt button logo as well is coming. What would be interesting to see is the BR version of that. Now, I think I did ask somewhere about that, maybe even last week on the stream. And the consensus was that the two Great Western Terriers, I know one of them was scrapped in 48, but the other one lasted to, I think it was 1952 or 53, what number it would have carried in BR service. And the consensus was it would have just kept its Great Western number, because that's what the Great Western locos did. Which is very interesting, but I've never seen any pictures of it in BR livery. I mean, that said, did it ever get painted into a BR black? But it would be interesting to see, and that in turn would feed through to be an interesting model if one of the manufacturers who are doing the Terrier would consider that. Don't forget as well, we've got 253 people in the chat. It's been steady all the way through. It's great to catch all you guys, and don't forget to tickle that like button. I nearly forgot my train of thought. It really is that hot up here that I am struggling a bit, it has to be said. But don't forget to tickle the like button, share on social media channels to let people know what we're up to. And everybody is welcome. We are a very wide-ranging and accepting community here at the Jenny Monday Club. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Ring the bell and you can first know about new videos as and when they go up. George says, oh, in terms of new tools or new model carriages, I'd love to see the Great Western Railway boat train carriages they built in the 30s. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff, and I'm really looking forward to the Hatton's Project Genesis coaches. I think that those... I've got hair in my mouth. There's trouble when you've got long hair and you wear it long like this and don't tie it back. And look, going in your mouth, and then you can't find that hair where it is. But yeah, there's so many interesting models. But I'm really looking forward to the Project Genesis coaches. Jay says, I love the sound of 37s. The distinct roar and growl they make is gorgeous. I have to say, actually, I'm quite liking the sound that the Class 40s and 45s make as well. And actually, the 20 has a very unique sound. Hythe Kent says, could a rolling road be used as a programming area? Technically, yes, it could. However, it's designed to sit on track, so you might as well just have a piece of track as a programming area. Ben Tullett says, Garthian, I noticed the little video on Stratford Railway, which Hornby magazine showed on their YouTube channel the other day. It was great to watch. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Richard Watson from New Junction visited Stratford Barn Railway. He seems to be sniffing out what I've got planned in the future and doing it before me. Richard Brighton, big hello to you. Yes, the rolling road can be used to program locos on. Definitely, but as I was saying, because it's designed ostensibly to sit on a piece of track, that piece of track it's sitting on would be your program track anyway. So I'm not sure, unless you physically strung wires between them, soldered wires between them, I'm not sure how it would get you any advantage, but certainly I have found them amazingly useful. So a big thank you, Richard, for sending these over. I found great uses for them, particularly running locos on DC, because up here I do not have it set up for any kind of DC running at the moment, and what these rolling rollers have allowed me to do is to run DC locos up here for the first time in a long time, which is really useful. I'm also looking forward to using the function to be able to run 3-rail locomotives, and that is really going to make servicing my father's locomotives a lot easier. James Pett says, I'm not a fan of DCC sound. One doesn't get a realistic soundscape. Yeah, I'm sure you're absolutely right on that. One of those things is like the real world is not just the sound of the locomotives. There's a lot of other ambient noise. Ambient, that's a really good word. Write it down. We must use that more often in our conversations. But certainly, I think, I've often thought that actually a cheaper way to do it would be to actually maybe have a sound system. You get a cheap sound system and a computer and actually play sounds, randomized sound. You can layer them over each other as like a sound mixer, and you can create that soundscape of things like traffic in the distance, people talking, tannoys, stations, clank of bits and pieces, bird noise, wind in the trees, all of these noises that are actually missing from DCC sound. And I think there still is a way to go for the development of DCC. There's a lot of things that they can add in and do. Certainly some of the newer models I've seen coming through have some amazing functions. It's nice to see, for example, with the Bachmann Class 90, and I believe the Hornby Class 92 as well as planned to have the pantograph that goes up and down. And it's nice to see that advantage is being taken of some of the things that DCC can actually offer. Now, I'm well behind here. Gwian Restave says the proper technique for diagnosing a loco demonstrated there. Is that a response to? I don't know if you're replying to somebody else's comment there. Yeah, James Pett, sound can become quite annoying at a while. Can become quite annoying after a while. If I'm stumbling over words, it's simply because I am overheated. You're basically watching somebody slowly descend into heat stroke. But I am drinking plenty of fluids here, and I've got 2 fans on me. I've got the extractor fan going, but this is actually quite grueling. But I'm a pro. I've done radio shows before now in some appalling conditions when air conditioning in studios broke down. I can remember at, I think it was BBC Manchester, Oxford Road, the air conditioning failed, and we still had to do a thing for BBC 5 Live. And they had this little room, and you can imagine it's in the centre of the building. It's sound insulated, and one of the things you find is anything that's good at insulating sound is also a very good heat insulator as well. So as soon as the air conditioning died, all the equipment in there, and it just got hotter and hotter and hotter, and we're slowly stripping, because it was middle of winter, stripping off coats, stripping off jumpers, and just like taking your shoes off. And it really was incredibly hot, but like the pros that we were, we got through that news report. Simon's Trains MR says definitely the Deltic is being evil. I'm well behind here, absolutely well behind. So let's just Hythe Kent. Yeah, you've got a point there. It sounds quite tinny. What have I got? Piece of metal stuck in my clothes. That's very peculiar. I'm starting to lose my train of thought a little bit, it has to be said, probably because of the heat. North End Sidings Model Railway, Kingspan, yes, absolutely. Wheel Clack is where it's at. James Petts, intriguing world of opening smoke box doors. My DJ model's Kerno 02 Class Southern has an opening 5x door, but it's just for the DCC decoder. The BT Well Tank, that does the same, and the Dapol O Gauge 14XX also does the same. And the Cupboard Monkey just sent me a message. Yes, I would love a bowl of frozen yogurt. I think that would be quite helpful. Matt Ovell, I'm waiting for the trolling. Rocket Smokebox door opens too. Does it really? I'm gonna have to go and have a look at that. Liam at New Mills Model Railway, I've stuck blue tack inside my smokebox door, kept popping open when going. Oh. Without Wallet Boy 2, HST, Paxman, Valencia, Thrash and Coast sound is great, but again, once up to cruise, it is merely meh. I know what you mean. I think shunting, if you've got a small shunting layout, the DCC sound really works wonders, but if you've got a roundy like I've got up here, it just becomes tedious. I'm how 20. Oh, good God! I'm about 10 minutes behind here. So, Melchester Model Railway is the rolling road multi-gauge. Presumably, it will work for 00 and 009. Yes, this particular pack gives you 00, P4, EM, HOE, 009, and N, and obviously 00 as well. And I believe they sell other kits for presumably for O gauge as well. I think Richard Brighton is in the chat. So if he's able to post some details and also dump a link in there as well, because I'm very, very impressed. Davil says, my DCC rolling road arrived last week, makes loco maintenance so much easier. Can change gauges easily. Brilliant. Mad on Steam Railways, good evening Jennifer, great to be back. How are you? I'm sweltering, it has to be said. Crossway Point Junction, you keep saying it's good to buy all these new locomotives. Have you sold any of your old ones? I did once and I regretted it. And that's the thing. You always miss what you sold, because at some point you bought it for a good reason. And I sold 2 Hornby J94 austerities in BR black livery. And I really regretted it. So I will be buying some of the EFE rail austerities, as we said. I've got quite a few of the NCB liveried ones from Hornby, really do like them. I also sold a Class 55 in two-tone green with the tops number. I swapped it actually for this, so I can't regret it too much. And I think there were a couple of other things that I got persuaded to sell to a friend, and I did regret. But other than that, I tend to hang on to everything, hence why I've got so much stuff everywhere. Oh, the frozen yogurt has arrived. Oh, thank you very much. I'm starting to feel a bit ill with the heat, it has to be said. So
don't kill yourself, Jen.
Yeah, I'll be alright. A bit of frozen yogurt won't hurt. Oh, that is nice. If you remember from school, well, when I was at school, you had Lakeland yogurts and the black cherry Lakeland yogurt. This tastes like they're just frozen one of those. I haven't tasted this in like 35 years. Yeah, about 30. Oh God. Oh, right. Right. Let's see where we got. Skipsy Trains, big hello to you. Went a bit offbeat from modern stock and bought the Hornby Princess Elizabeth plus TTS decoder following your review last week. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that it was of help. It is actually quite nice. The model is amazing. And I fitted it with the TTS sound partially because Hornby actually sent over the TTS sound chip with it. And it is quite a good sound chip, it has to be said. And I was wondering about how different it was going to be, because they also do the Princess Coronation sound chip, and I thought, well, they're very similar locomotives, but actually the sound chips are quite different. There is, of course, preserved examples of both that they could get sound files from. Stretch Edit says, American company Broadway Limited imports a subwoofer system you can mount under the board playing extra sound. Now that is a really good idea. Jay says, I've recently acquired my Merton Terrier after pre-ordering her last month from Rails. A beautiful limited edition model for a great price. And it is, in a way, it's a good job that that didn't go the same way to some extent as the Duchess of Athol. But as I said before, I'm waiting for a reply from Simon Kohler from Hornby. He's promised me a reply probably tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he says about the questions that I put to him, which included why were people still able to buy them up to at least the 30th of July, when people who ordered them in January, within an hour or two of them being announced, have been told that their pre-order has been cancelled. That's good on a hot day. Right. Clive Cobold says, "Hi Jenny, are you going to have one of the Helgen Class 86 electric locomotives when they come out? I have 3 on order." I do like the look of them, I have to say. I do have a little bit of a soft spot for the AC electrics. Now, I've missed out on the 87 from Hornby. I'll keep an eye out for one second hand, I guess. But the 86 from Helgen is one that I would like to get. Skipsy Trains. I spent the last 2 years travelling to site in London by train. I also spent this time recording station sounds, announcement stations and trains, etc. I intend to use this sound on Skipsy. That's actually a really good idea. And I have thought for a while that the idea of a sound system that kind of plays the ambient noise actually adds a lot more to a model railway in some respects than sound in the locomotives. And of course it's a lot more flexible because you're not limited by space. And also you can have a very powerful speaker. That's cooling me down quite nicely. Ben Tullett says, "My first Helgen locomotive arrived the other day. It's not as bad as a certain YouTuber thought it was. Nothing has fallen off and no glue marks." He does seem to be very unlucky. He does get a lot of quality control fails, it seems. But yeah, I did a review on the 1366 class. I think it's got the same chassis, just different body. And I really liked it. My example had no faults, no problems, and worked and continues to work really, really well, it has to be said. So it is a really good model, and at the moment Rails of Sheffield have got them on a really great price. I think Kerno Model Centre have as well, and no doubt a number of other retailers have as well. So for a small shunting locomotive, it's a little bit quirky, and certainly visually, aesthetically, quite a bit different from your usual brace of Jinties and pannier tanks. I think they are a really good opportunity to get what's actually quite a great model. You know, I know that some of the reputation with Helgen comes from some of the earlier locomotives, the 47 with the grenading chassis block, the Class 17 with the motor that seized up, and interestingly enough, my Class 14 has just burnt out its motor. It's hardly been used, and I put it on the rolling road, and I thought it's never been a reliable runner. I've tried DCC chipping it a number of times, and it's always been unusable. So I put it on the rolling road with the intention of letting it free itself up. It ran for about a minute and a half, and then the magic smoke came out, and the motor was gone. Directional lights still come on. But the Class 14, not impressed. I've got to scoff this quick because it's actually melting quite quickly up here. Right. Peter Leyland says, "I have to say I'm still on DC old school." Leon Reese Davies says, "Sorry Jenny, it was in response to you sniffing the city for potential magic blue smoke." Yeah, there's the thing about electronics. All electronics work because the magic smoke sits inside the components, and as long as you can keep the magic smoke trapped inside those components, it will make sure it works. But as soon as you give it an opportunity to, the magic smoke will escape and your electronics stop working. It's true, you know, it's true. All electronics work the same way. They're powered by magic smoke. Right, I'm going to try and get more up to date on the comments. I'm going to... Oh, let me know, you've been busy. So a big hello to Lance 2020, going out to 12:59. Not seen you about for a while. Peter Leyland, hi to you. Oh, big hello to New Junction as well. Great to have you in. Let's have a look. Who else have we got? Any new people in? Bill Dolphin, Crossways Point Junction, Henry's Transport Adventures and Beyond. Hi Jenny, I love the Bachmann Class 25. I really love Class 25s as well, it has to be said. I think I've got at last count about 13 of them. And I'm kind of looking forward to the Helgen Class 25, but with a little bit of trepidation. Because is it going to render my entire Bachmann fleet obsolete? Or can they coexist with each other? Ah! Sensitive teeth. Yes, children, this is what happens when you get to be middle-aged. You drink things like a very hot cup of coffee or very cold ice cream, and as soon as it touches your teeth, it's basically like somebody's put an electric shock through your jaw. And yes, you may laugh, but in time it will happen to you. Jane94 asks, hey Jenny, how is your Class 40 doing? Pretty well, thanks. Really quite pleased with it. Really pleased. Keep calm, make stuff. Says when the smoke goes out, you can't get it back in. No, you can never get the magic smoke back in the little boxes. It's not possible. Only magic little factories out in the Far East can actually get it into the box in the first place. They've got a special machine that puts the smoke in the box. Going now to 12:59, says, the magic smoke. Lance 2020 says, I may have spent £500 for a single brass locomotive. I know they're not cheap, not cheap. Gary Lewis, I'm waiting for GWR Class 1366 loco to arrive from Rails after they posted their half-priced offer last week. You should be very pleased with that. I've been very pleased with my model, it has to be said. Lance 2020, great to see you, Jennifer. Keep the streams coming in. Who's ordered their Class 91s? Again, another model. I wouldn't mind getting one, but I've got so much stuff on pre-order, I have to say. I have to be a little bit careful because it becomes very easy to literally spend thousands. Right, let's have a look. Ben Tullett, wheel sparking on older locomotives is fun as well. Yeah, and you only really get that on dirty track and DC. Simon Trains MRS says force the 25s to coexist with each other. Now you see, when Bachmann retooled its Class 3 shunter, I had some of the older versions, the ex-mainline ones, and I'd always thought that they were okay models right up until I put them next to the new Bachmann model, and overnight I just gave my fleet away. I think I had about 5 of the older Bachmann models and mainline models, and I just gave them away. I didn't even want money for them, I just gave them away. Oh, okay. Gonaz 1259 says Sensodyne. Excuse me. Yes, I am at an age where that's probably a good thing. Crossways Point Junction, eating all that ice cream, Jenny, you'll get brain freeze. I'm very careful. I'm a professional ice cream eater. Henry's Transport Adventures and Beyond. Wow, that's a lot of Class 25s. I have only one. I built them up over nearly 20 years, that has to be said. Lance 2020, love frozen yogurt. And Cottesmore, great to see you in. Evening to you. Leslie Gilpin says, Jenny, you need some Sensodyne toothpaste. Keep some handy when you're out. Flymo Chairman 1, ooh, yogurt lollies. Frozen yogurt, actually, I do quite like it. I like sorbet as well. Stretch Edits, I want to see the Helgen Class 45 that looks like it might be a stunner. Now, I know that there was some concern about the tumble home at the edge of the roof. It'd be interesting to see the next iteration of the model and see what Helgen come up with. I must admit, again, that's another one. I look at the Bachmann Class 45 and think, is this going to outclass it? That said, I've only got one Batman Class 45. I've got a Class 44 and a 46 as well. So I've got the trio of peaks. But even so, it can get expensive when you're replacing what you've already bought. Gwian Reese Davies says, blue magic smoke refill kits are just snake oil. Don't tell them what the blue smoke's made of. Tim Condrup, you should get a window in your loft. It will help. I've got one in my loft. I must admit, I do think that I should get a Velux window up here. The problem is that this house was built in 1927. I think it was 1927. And the builders that built it decided that they didn't need no stinking spirit levels or set squares or rulers or measuring tape or anything like that. They would just throw it together. So the roof spars, actually, they're not standard widths apart and they're not even parallel. We've got rooms that it's like there's no right angles in the entire room, not even between the ceiling and the walls lean, and oh god, this house is weird. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. I really do need to be putting a window in here, some kind of small window hatch. I think you're absolutely right, but it's a tough job to retrofit. Donald Thompson, both to go. Can't stand watching someone eat while talking. Child of the 50s, always told not to talk while eating. Sorry, I'm very sorry. I'm just trying to cool down up here. It is incredibly hot. Big hello to Belmont Junction. Going as 12:59. The magic smoke can be found in most hobby electronics. Strange that. And it's also if you look up, I think it's Photo Induction is the channel on YouTube. He finds that there's magic smoke in a lot of things. Gary Lewis, thanks Ben and Jenny, absolutely welcome. Lance 2020, whose wallet was broken because of the new releases? Hands up everybody. Thomas Whittington, we'll watch the rest of this on catch up. Okay, look, you take care and we'll catch you later. Flymo Chairman 1, I had an old Princess Victoria that finally let out its magic smoke. Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes it is possible to see if there's a little bit of magic smoke left in, a good clean of the commutator, possibly brand new brushes as well. And sometimes you find that not all the magic smoke came out and it will still run for a little bit. Henry's Transport Adventures and Beyond. I like the Ruston 48DS. It's a great model. I have the Queen Anne one. That is a really nice one. It has to be said. Going as 12:59, I've got an old Hornby 00 Class 08 Shunter that used to release the magic smoke. Mum sent it back to Hornby and they said nothing wrong with it. Some of the older models did tend to smoke a little bit. I'll be back says great layout. Thank you very, very much. Let's change the camera angle actually, because I was sort of stuck on the same camera angle for a bit. James Pett says, you live in a real life crooked billet. Yeah, this is the house that the man who didn't have a plumb line, spirit level, ruler, set square or anything built. Jonesy Tyne and Weir Transport. Do you have lights in your railway coaches? To be honest, only if they came with them from the outset. I've got a lot of Pullman coaches with lights in, but other than that, I can't think of any others. Essentially, it's purely the ones that came from the manufacturers with lights in. Crossways Point Junction says, you need to get a good carpenter. He will make your window easy to do. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure that I want just anybody cutting a hole in my roof, mind. I would say. Rob Arnold says, actually, same applies to houses built in the 60s. Roger Hunter says, I've got to go and watch a good horror film, The Silence. Good night all. Well, good night to you. Enjoy your film. We'll be going... Well, we might just actually get the last 20 minutes. I am massively overheating up here, it has to be said. Stretch Edit says, my only two new releases on order are the Acura Scale Delta. Yes, that is definitely one I'm looking forward to. Class 37. Boom. Yes, that as well. And Sutton Loco Works Class 24. I've heard so many good things about the Sutton Loco Works Class 24. I'm going to have to investigate it at some point. I also like the Batman Class 24s. And I suspect that the Sutton Loco Works will just make them look very sketchy by comparison. Gary Lewis says all houses have a very generous building tolerances. Yeah, actually my parents' house was built in 1985, and over the years my dad has found a lot of budget and Scarpa bits and pieces in there. Jonesy Tyne and Weird Transport asks, would you buy a Class 91? Yeah, I definitely would, I think. Hythe Kent, good night all. Good night to you. It's been great having your company. Don't forget as well, check us out next week. And any part of this that you miss, you can rewatch or catch up on after the stream. It goes up as a regular video. Tony Pine says, I've just bought a Bachmann Robinson 04. Could you recommend a Trainomatic decoder? Yes, very much. The 21-pin decoder is a straight fit into there, really good, works just fine, no need to fiddle about with the CV settings. So very much, I do recommend. I've got one, it's just out of reach up there because the fan's in the way. But yeah, the 21-pin Trainomatic decoder is a perfect first-time fit in there, and you don't need to fiddle about with any of the CV settings. It's one of my favourite locomotives, actually. I've got about 6 of them now. I kind of made it my mission to get every single BR version. Plus, on top of that, I've got the Great Central Railway Special Edition. And I've got the Swindonised version, one of the ones that was sold to the Great Western Railway. I've got one of those too. And I really like that locomotive. Aesthetically, it is incredibly pleasing. Henry's Transport Adventures and Beyond. I live in Wick, Caithness, Scotland, and I'm 11 years old. Well, it's a great hobby to get into, and you're certainly at a great age to learn, to pick up skills. And basically, don't let anybody put you down. Don't let anybody put you off the hobby. And I think the one bit of advice that I would give to everybody is that you can do anything if you have confidence in yourself. And railway modelling is like a lot of other things in that respect. If you are confident in your abilities, you might actually be quite surprised just how much you can achieve. There's a lot of practice and experimentation, and don't let anybody tell you that it's like, oh, you're doing that wrong. There's no wrong way of doing a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of different techniques to create similar effects. So just because one person uses one method doesn't mean that you can't use another. But certainly, yeah, it's a great hobby. It's one which, on and off, I've been into for as long as I can remember. I think my father got me into railway modelling when I was about 2-3 years old. But yeah, it is a very good hobby with a lot of transferable skills as well, which you can transfer out into everyday life in terms of planning, planning layout, electrics, getting your mind around how electrics work, problem solving as well, and a whole host of other creative things, DIY things, woodworking. It is a really, really versatile hobby. I've been wittering away here. There's loads and loads of comments come in. Garthian says, I have 3 Sutton Locomotive Works Class 24s. They are superb models. I don't doubt that, I have to say. It's just, how much are the Sutton Locomotive Works 24s actually these days? Nick Neumann says, hi folks, the locos in Shipley Freight Yard are overheating. Oh my word. Ian asks, hi, do you have any new on TV programs, model railway, that you're in? You may think that. I can't really actually comment, but what I do know is that model railways hopefully will be back on the television in some form of TV series, and as soon as they let me tell you about it, I will. Kingspan Cutting, I can't see you next week. Stretchhead, it says, I agree, not much more than a Bachmann loco, yet way more detailed. Interesting. I will have to investigate them. Jonesy Tyne and Weird Transport, what livery would you buy of the Class 91? It has to be Intercity Executive for me, I have to say. Ben Tullett, remember to support the preserved railways, everyone. They still require help, even though they survived lockdown. Very much so. And a lot of the museums too as well. They need your support now as more than ever. Clive Cobold, hi Jenny, I'm now painting my model conversion Northern Ireland Railways 3-car 80 class DEMU. Brilliant. Kingspan Cutting, I've just pre-ordered the Duchess of Kent. Don't normally splash out on brand new locos, but can't wait for it to arrive. Interesting. Was that one that Hornby originally were going to cancel and now release it? It may have been because they were going to update the models, the molds even, and they've done that now. Or am I confusing it with another? I'm not sure. James G, what would be a great sound chip alternative for a Class 68? I really don't know. With a lot of these, what you may find is an American locomotive sound chip, depending on what power plant is actually in it. I guess the power plant is quite important, but also the arrangement of the silencer and also to some degree some of the auxiliaries and things like turbo or superchargers can very much change engine noise. So for example, you get the characteristic whistling noise from the Class 40 is from the turbocharger, and you know, little things like that can change the sound of an engine somewhat. But I don't know what its power plant is, but certainly if you can get a sound file from a locomotive that shares the same power plant. Stretch edits. I bought the sound with Stay Alive. Surprised to find it just over £50 more than the Bachmann equivalent. Yeah, and part of that is because Bachmann's just become too expensive. And we've seen that in various parts of the range where they're still hocking around 30-year-old tooling at sky-high prices. Pudham Junction says, get a plaque for the front door. Neferut or tape measure not required. Stephen Cameron says, when you please yourself, you please everyone that counts. That's actually a really good way of going through life. Essentially, the person that matters most is yourself. And if you're happy, then that's all you need out of your hobby. You don't want some killjoy fun police screwing all of the fun out of the hobby. And unfortunately, there are these trolls around, and what I've always found is that the ones that make the snidiest, most scummy comments are the ones that do the least. They don't make models by and large. There are some exceptions, but by and large they're just like twisted, jealous individuals sat at home sniping at the people who actually get up and do something. Nick Neumann, is that the prototype Deltic I just saw? Yes, it is. There's a DP1 going around. It's one of the Bachmann models. I do really like that. It is a great model. It was done in conjunction with the National Railway Museum. I've lost my place. Let me just... Richard Swiderski says, oh, Jenny on telly. Garthian, I can show you one of mine at Stratford next month, Jenny. Class 24, that is. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing it in the flesh. That would be really good. Rob Arnold says, Jenny is already on my TV live. Let's have a look. Game Hammer Classic Gaming, a.k.a. The Covered Monkey. I had to talk to Jenny into grabbing the Deltic when we were in the museum. She was umming and ahhing over whether to get one, and when I finally got her to, it was the last in stock. But they do release different versions, so there's a newer version come out, about 2 versions since. It's been a perennial great seller for the Railway Museum, it has to be said. Russell Benton says, Class 68 sound great in real life. I have heard that as well. Madon Steam Railways, love those lovely cat ears you're wearing. Sorry to say goodnight. It's alright, it's been great having your company. And as I always say, it's an Alice band, but it's the only one I've got that's not broken. And it's trying to keep my hair out of my face. But also, I can get away with this. I can't imagine Richard from New Junction or Dave from Cottesmore or Ollie from Wardle Road going around with the little cat ears. Actually, I dare you. Go on, get yourself a set of cat ears from Claire's Accessories and let's have a thing. Let's all wear them. They're all going, no, we're not going to do that. Stretch Edits is better than a Gronk. Gwion Reese Davies says, ignore the trolls. Very much. Who's counting rivets? See what you did there? Belmont Junction says, okay, good night, Jenny and Zoe. Stay safe and good night, everyone. You stay safe too. Take care. Tony Pine says, my back when Robinson 04 was £70 from TMC. That's actually a really great price. Ben Tullett, nothing can beat a Gronk. Actually, Gronks are great. North End Sidings, Mother Railway, dusty old men in their lofts counting rivets and wagging fingers. Yeah, and they're so busy counting rivets, they actually forget to make anything. Nick Neumann, absolutely right. Well, it's easy to criticise, but hard to create. Boo to trolls, very much. Great Northern 6. Jenny, are you planning on getting any Genesis coaches? If so, what livery or liveries? Yeah, there's loads. I'd love the NCB set, the Great Central set, London, Brighton and South Coast Railway set, South Eastern and Chatham Railway set. What others were there? Great Northern Railway, and some of the BR departmental ones as well. I think I stopped adding them to my pre-order cart when I hit about £1,000 and freaked myself out. So I'm going to wait for them to arrive and then I'm going to order some. And I'm not decided yet whether I buy a full rake all in the same livery and effectively just review one livery, or whether I buy one coach of each livery and compare them with each other. I've not quite decided. What I do know is that I think that there will be certain coaches that I will get, like the departmental ones. I really want those. The NCB ones, those quite interest me as well. And I think that Great Central Railway, now I've got 3 Great Central Railway liveried locomotives and literally nothing for them to pull. So I'm very tempted to get a full rake of Great Central liveried ones, but also London, Brighton and South Coast as well. And you see where it's coming from. It's just very easy to go, well, I've got locomotives that would go well with these, and I've got locomotives that would go well with these. And it just shows the vacuum that's in the market for the pre-grouping rolling stock. We've got the pretty locomotives, and there's one sat here in pre-1923 Great Western Railway livery, and where's the stock for them to pull? So it really is great to see. Kingspan Cutting, good night Jenny, Zoe and everyone. Had to be up early for work in the morning. Now you take care, have yourself a great night's sleep. Hopefully the weather's broken where you are, as in it's like rain, thunder, lightning cleared the air, because this is going to be horrible to sleep in. And these fans are now just blowing warm air at me. It's like being sat in front of 2 hairdryers. It really is getting really hot up here. So I'm looking at the time. We've got another 5 minutes to go. I think I can just about eke out another 5 minutes. Ben Tullett says the rivet counting trolls also moan about the preserved railways, especially when we run a GWR train with a set of LNER carriages at the Severn Valley Railway. Well, all you need to do is say to them, tell you what, you pay us, we'll put the right coaches behind it. Yeah, you pay us the money to restore a full set of Great Western Railway coaches, we'll happily put them behind the Great Western locomotive. And that's it. They never want to put the money where their mouth is. All they want to do is criticise, because that's all they have the skills to do. James G says, have you seen this Class 56 Floyd ZRT? It looks pretty good. I've seen the pictures. I think they're actually delivery pre-production pictures, but I've not seen it in the flesh. But it does look interesting. But not one for me, I have to say. Clive Cobbold says, Jenny, good night from Northern Ireland. Good night to you. Hopefully the weather has kind of cooled down a bit for you. Russell Benton, yes, well done for braving the heat, Jenny. Going to say goodbye. I think there's a few people starting to drift off. So let's have a look. Gary Lewis says, I've been supporting my local heritage railway, Avon Valley Railway, by going over for socially distanced lunch breaks when I can. Absolute hero, sir. Crossways Point Junction. Good night, Jenny. You have done the best job tonight in the heat. Can everybody put a thumbs up for Jenny? Don't forget to tickle the like button. Share this stream too. And also, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. I'm starting to trip over my words. So I'm going to... Yeah, James Pett, I will be reviewing the Genesis carriages. Davil says, I've ordered the SECR Genesis coaches, which will accompany a massive range of early locos, including the Stirling Kit single. Good choice, good choice. Gwyn Reese Davies, my friend Mal gave me a lovely set of OO Graham Farish suburban coaches in GWR chocolate and cream. Also looking forward to Hatton's Genesis 4 and 6 wheel coaches very much. I think they're going to be the standout models of the year when they do turn up. Garthian, I'm going to send you a picture from yesterday that looks hilarious. K1 first Garrett loco with the former Thorpe Park coaches. Logan Clary, wow, never done this before, walking home and watching you live. Gosh, modern technology, eh? Peter Leyland, I love accuracy, but I'm all for encouraging and giving advice where I can, and for all having a go, so to speak. We all have to start somewhere, and we're all at different levels of ability. Very much so. Very much so. Right. I'm going to have to go. I'm starting to pass out in the heat. It is just incredibly hot up here. So look, you guys all take great care of yourself. We've got videos coming out... what day? Wednesday, and I will bring to you whatever Simon Kohler tells us about the Duchess of Athol saga. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, with a big fan. I've got a splitting headache. Hey kids, keep hydrated so you won't turn into Jenny. I think I'm going to be paying for this tomorrow. But it's been great having your company. You guys all take great care of yourself. And I'm going to say bye for now.